Hello everyone. I'm going to start by gessoing my entire page with some fluid gesso, and I'm just covering it up. It's got some dark spots from other projects that I did earlier in that book. So I'm just making sure that I have a white canvas to work with. Then I'm going to take some Flat Fabios Summer Love and Sun by Lindy Stamp Gang, and I'm going to spray a little bit of my page. And then T-Bird Turquoise. I'm going to be creating kind of like a sky. So I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of colors and creating a background for my page. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm taking a couple of greens. And I will post the link below, you guys, or on my blog, to all of the different names of these sprays, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out what the name says. And all I'm doing here is I'm just spraying. And I'm getting it nice and wet. And because it's gessoed, you'll see once I dry it, it's going to need a second coat. So here I am using a little bit of orange. And as you can see, look how light it dried. So I'm just adding a second layer. And like I said, these are flat Fabios, so they do not have a shimmer in them like the other Lindy Stamp Gang products. Here I'm using some rub-ons that I had. I think it's Heidi Grace rub-ons. And I really wanted to use these up. I've had them in my stash for a little bit now, and it was time. So I'm sure you all have tons of rub-ons in your stash that you can use. So this is a really cool technique that I'm going to be showing you on how to use up your rub-ons in your stash. I've given so many of mine away, and now after doing this technique, I'm kind of wanting some of it back because it's actually quite fun to create. So I just have a stylus, and this is what I'm using. And okay, so now I'm going to be using my Faber Castell big brush markers, or Pitt sprig brush markers, however you want to call them. And I'm just going to be shading and coloring all of my rub-ons. For those of you that haven't seen my previous tutorials, these markers are really awesome. They're made out of India ink, and so they don't work like regular markers when you use gesso, so you can go ahead and put a line and then use your fingers to rub, and it'll just blend in, which is really great. So I'm using a couple colors here just to create that shadow effect on the clouds. Next, I'm going to be taking my black gelato and I'm going to apply it to all the edges of my images. And so I'm just going to apply it on the edge, and then I'm going to take my fingers and just rub, and it'll create kind of a blending effect. So that's what I'm doing here for some of my flowers and the house and the hot air balloon, and a little bit around the edges of the book just to give it a more dingy look. Next, I'm taking Tim Holtz stamp set with some of the sentiments on it, and here you get to experience me screwing up, making a mistake. And I wanted to keep it in here so that you could see that I make mistakes and that now I have to figure out a way to patch it up. So here is me patching it up. So I just grabbed a white piece of cardstock and I stamped it again on the white piece of cardstock so that the image would actually show up properly. And then I'm just tearing it up, and I'm going to be using my black gelato, and I'm going to be putting black gelato all over the edges, and then rubbing it with my finger, of course, and just to shade it. And then I'm going to take my brush that's got a little bit of water, and you know, gelatos will kind of create a watercolor effect when you use water with them. And so then I'm grabbing my glue and seal with just some kind of like a multi-medium, and I'm just putting it on the back and placing it right over top of the piece that I had made a mistake on. So I'm just sealing it on there. And next, I'm grabbing my black marker and I'm just going over my images again. I really did not like the way that that the page turned out, so I'm just going over it with black and seeing how it turns out. And you guys, sometimes your page will not turn out the way you like it. This is all what mixed media is about and art journaling is about. Some pages you like more than others. This one's not one of my favorites for sure, but it was really fun to try this technique, which I will try again. Just, you know, it'll look different, right? So just keep trying. Don't get discouraged if your page doesn't turn out the way you like it. I noticed the clouds were a little bit light now that I had put black in it, so I was a little bit nervous about putting black on the clouds, but you know what, I actually really like the way it turned out. So that's what I'm doing here. Next, I'm grabbing some stencils, one from the scrapyard. That's what this one is right here, with a little bit of flat Fabio black, and the other one is a Crafter's Workshop template. And I'm just spraying it just to give the page a little bit more dimension. And because my page was so warped, some of the ink was running a little bit, which happens. So, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my link below to my blog. I'll have all the products that I used. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.